I've done loads. I've
Yeah,
done
so,
loads.
so we're speed awareness course, brothers. I did a motorway speed awareness course.
Yeah, yeah, that one, and then just one on road, and I didn't realise there were difference because I thought, hang on, I only did one like a
Yeah,
year ago. Surely, and then I realised there was a difference between
yeah.
motorway and
I,
roads.
I was waiting for the 3 points, and when it said, "Or you can do a speed awareness course," and I was thinking, "Oh, right, okay, cool." So we've both done a few of those. Well,
Yeah,
welcome, sir.
thank you.
Um, I
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good to
and
see
you,
you.
man.
It's
It's
been a
been
while.
it was probably when we were doing the 30th anniversary of Obnoxious.
Online? You mean
Yeah,
online?
well, we did we
Because
did
I've
the
seen you.
documentary, and you did
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
did
did. I did a
film some
little.
stuff for it.
Oh yeah, I did a little clip for you, didn't I?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
in 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 where actually where I did it was during lockdown. But just before we went into lockdown, we were having a refurbishment. It started the kitchen. So where I'm actually filming is actually in like it looked like a derelict building. It's where they've started knocking down, building the foundations for the new kitchen, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden lockdown and everybody's out of a job and there's no materials and we've got half a house. So
Fucking hell.
yeah,
Well, look. Thanks for coming on and doing this, and
thanks
obviously,
for inviting us. Yeah.
I've got I've got the reason for it here.
Oh, that yeah, I've got one.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Hey, look at
Got a
that.
couple. Eventually
Proper
got a
company
couple.
man. Inside the Wreckage.
Yeah.
So, look, let's talk about this first because we've got a whole load to talk about. But so how did this come about?
The Cherry Records.
Yeah,
The Cherry Records. Well, I just out of the blue, I'd had a message from Dan.
yeah,
Um, not asking me, but telling me that they were going to do this. And he
brilliant.
said, we've had permission to reissue. And I said, um, permission from who? And then he said
Yeah,
BMG, and then it all came flooding back. And
of
I'd
course.
yeah, it all came flooding back. That was still going because if you ask somebody or whatever happened to Noise International, they just draw on and on and on about them being taken over and then them being taken over and another
Yeah,
bigger fish taking over them. And you think, oh, it's disappeared into thin air. And then I realised when he said that BMG was
yeah.
still would still have retain. But it was good what he said about it though. It said that well, I said to him, I said, you know that they had been done before, that there was some reissues done previously with Dive Bomb with Matt Radzinski at Dive Bomb Tribunal Records. I think his reissue arm.
What an apt name for reissue of Noise Records, Tribunal Records.
Tribunal. I think that's what he'd called it. Um, and he explained that his job, he'd worked with Earache Records previously, and he'd linked me. He'd got to me via a couple of the lads from one of the lads from our local Massive Wagons.
Oh right,
Massive
yeah,
Wagons is our local rock band who were on the scene.
yeah,
I think they were. I don't know if they still are or were or still are with Earache Records. And Dan had spoken to one of the members and said, oh yeah, I know Jason. Yeah, I know. Just message him. It'll be it'll be cool. It'll be all right. And what Dan had said was, he'd said that look, what I do is I bring Cherry Records an idea of a reissue, and he said 8 out of 10 times they say no crap. He said, and on this occasion they said, yeah, go on then do it. So
cool,
that's what he said. So obviously
brilliant.
he'd already got permission to do it. So
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, nothing to lose.
yeah, absolutely. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. It's a really cool package, actually. Um, I mean, the, it's just reading I was just reading the thanks list. Oh, that's annoying. Hang on, there we go. Yeah, I was just reading the thanks list, and there's a very short thanks list. It says thanks to Jason McLaughlin, Coke Finley, Howard H. Smith, and Dan Earl for their help with this release, and that's it. We got two of those people on this podcast.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's good.
how involved in the process were you, or was it literally like, did you get a say in sort of packaging or providing pictures or anything?
Yeah. What's his name? The other chap who works with Dan. Um, we did one of these. We did
Oh,
an
you did a
online
Zoom.
a Zoom interview. What's his name? I'll get his name. Hang on. I think
Oh,
he does a lot of
was it
write-ups
was it was it
for
Mark
the
Freebase?
Mark. Yeah, Mark. Yes, yeah. Sorry, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did. I did one of these with Mark, and we went through a lot of the history and then up to date to where we are now, where we've been in the last 11, 12 years as well, and then up to now. So we did a lot of that, and then I mean, there's still a lot of stuff still stored on my computer from when we did the reissues with Dive Bomb. So it was just a case of just transferring it over,
Right.
because there's the I've got because I have the original artwork that I got from what's his name, Andreas Marshall. Got that from Andreas Marshall, the original artist from Berlin, for
Oh,
the
cool.
very first reissues. So transferred that back over to Dan, so he got copies of them as well. Yeah,
Excellent. Excellent. So, yeah, I was just looking there. Is that there's a few pictures of mine in there as well that I
yeah,
sent over to Mark.
yeah. I realised they must have come from you because I didn't. I showed Andy a few, and I said, "Do you remember any of these photographs?" And he said, "No." And I said, "These must be Howard's from when
Yeah.
he even the guys were taking photographs, and must be from his
Yeah.
photo collection."
Well, I remember
Yeah,
getting a picture of Ellie's cartoon that he did on the wall in Plymouth
yeah,
when we blew up the PA,
yeah,
and
yeah,
which of course went on to be a T-shirt, but
yeah,
and well, it was supposed to be the cover of an EP, but that obviously never happened. Um, Typical, isn't it? Well, typical story, innit? Cover, yeah. Oh, that's a great T-shirt. Yeah, it's supposed to be the cover of an EP, but never came
yeah.
out.
I remember that it sort of broke the ice as well, didn't it? A little bit. We thought you were going to go because I think there'd been some. I think the whole day was just a shit day, and then the PA blowing up as well just sort of topped it off.
Oh, mate, it
For
wasn't. I
remember,
I I remember that day really clearly. We did our usual quest to find a football pitch, and we ended up walking halfway across Plymouth and
yeah,
kind of but we found this really cool place to play football. Just some grass as usual, but it was really cool. And we played football as usual.
yeah,
And then I think we looked at the time and we'd kind of underestimated A, how long we'd been playing football, B, how long it took to get there. And it was obviously going to take longer to get back because we are all a bit knackered. And yeah, so when we came in, we did our usual like fucking sound check, which was like hanging on the telephone, nice short 2 minute song, Bully Boy, like 50 seconds, job done, over to you guys. But I remember that day. I was going to say it was really fucking hot, but is it me or was that every day?
we'd got some good weather during that period. Yeah, we had some great weather.
Yeah, that
There
was
was
a
a bit of a heat wave.
boiling April.
Yeah, yeah, it
It,
was a good
it,
one.
it was boiling, and
Mm,
it's funny now because I look back now and I think, how the fuck did we like run around in the sun playing football for at least about an hour every day, and then we all went on stage and did a gig afterwards.
yeah, yeah, it was good.
Mental.
It was good.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that day, and then I think the something that had been said. I can't remember what it was. There was a bit of tension. It was not. I wasn't involved in any of it,
Mhm.
and and then the PA blew up and whatever. We we're not we weren't having a great day, and then
Yeah.
Ellie did that cartoon. And we thought
Oh,
when he put it on, we thought, fucking hell, they're going to see, they're going to like fuck off, they're going to kick us off the tour and whatever. It's going to kick off this. You come in and you went, fucking hell, that's brilliant.
yeah,
And the guy who was manager said, okay, can you do this properly for us, Ellie? On a, we're going to
yeah.
put that on t-shirts. Oh,
Mate,
yeah,
I've still got that original drawing. I've the original drawing
yeah.
that Ellie did of for the t-shirt. Yeah, I've still got
Very
it.
talented guy was Ellie. Yeah, very talented. It was, I think that was his original plan of when he, of a career would have been within the art and within art as an artist or some form or another,
Yeah.
graphic artist of something that never came. But
And
he had been to college or university of some form or another doing that.
do you know
Yeah,
what?
Ellie.
It's weird. Guitarists and being good artists,
Yeah.
it seems to go hand in hand. He's about a third or fourth that I know who are well. I was in a band with only other band I've ever been in, Strange Thing, and the guitarist in Strange Thing now designs like entire cities and spaceships and shit for Marvel.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, he did all the like spaceships in the Thor
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, that's mental. Um, but yeah, so Ellie, he unfortunately passed away a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was during COVID, during lockdown.
Oh no,
I think it was roughly that. Yeah, it was. Well, I've not seen him for years. We hadn't seen him for quite a long while. I think he eventually moved down back to where he was originally from. I think it's the Guildford area.
yeah,
He'd been living in Lancaster for I think since he'd finished university. So he would have been living in Lancaster a good 20 to 30 years. And then we'd lost contact with him anyway. But we'd heard that he was gone back to Guildford. But he still kept in contact with a lot of people up here in Lancaster. He still met some, He'd still had some good friends still living here. And it was one of his friends that had contacted me and mentioned it and said, did you know about Ellie? And I said, no, no. And it's Steve. The guy was called Steve Duckles. He was a good friend of Ellie's, and he said that one of Ellie's relatives, I think it was his sister, had contacted Steve and gave him the news. Yeah, yeah.
oh dear, that's a real shame.
I don't know fully what had gone on, but I don't think he'd been looking after himself.
Right.
So I think it was a case of that. I think it was a case of
Yeah.
misadventure.
Well, funnily enough, the same happened with our original bass player Ian. He passed away in COVID. Pretty much the same,
Yeah,
same scenario. Not looking after himself.
yeah,
Well, actually, abusing himself.
yeah.
And yeah, he didn't make it out of COVID.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. Strange, but so with this, I mean, Ellie aside, with this re-release coming out, was there ever any thoughts about maybe playing a few gigs or something like that? Coming
Well,
out of Mosh retirement?
yeah, I think so. No, but I think we'd sort of done it. We'd sort of done it when I seen you last, when I actually saw you last time. You came along to one of the gigs. I think it might have been Wakefield, or
Yeah,
we did some shows about 2012, 2013. We did some shows to
yeah.
coincide with the very first reissues, the D.A.M reissues. But do you remember how all that came about? How all that came about, the reissues and those gigs? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Think about that time, right? I don't know if you was contacted. You must have been contacted. So there was a guy named Joshua Callis Smith, and he was
Yes, the
putting together a
documentary.
documentary about the
Yeah,
British about the British thrash metal
yeah,
era. Um, and did you speak to him then? Did you get any?
yeah. He came and stayed here, and
He's a really lovely fellow, wasn't he?
Jem Howard from Music for Nations
Yeah,
came over as well, and we did a sort of like a co-interview. Yeah,
yeah,
he was a top lad. I'm
really lovely fellow.
still friends with him on Facebook. I mean, we don't get to chat or anything, but I
No,
like get a little window into his world occasionally.
he'd contacted me via. can't remember what route he'd taken, whether it was an email or a Facebook at the time. And I was like, he explained what he was doing, and it was polite. It was polite. So I thought, well, okay, right. So it's just a case of just finding some time. So he said, "Have you got any spare time?" So I gave him some spare time, and he said, "Well, we'll come and see you. We'll come to Lancaster to see you." So I got I messaged Andy. I phoned Andy. I said, "Come along and do this." It was a nice day, and they turned up, and I thought, right, he seems a really nice guy. And I said, "Where do you?" I said, "Do you want to do it in this front room?" He said, "No, it's a nice day. Let's go outside." So I opened the garage up, and we got some seat. And he pulled out these. Did you remember them cameras he had?
Yeah,
Those big state. They looked like something
yeah,
from the Aliens movie. Somebody
yeah,
this massive state of the art cameras look fantastic. And he did his interview, but um, it was when he put together a little trailer for it, didn't he?
yeah,
And it was really when you watched it, you went, "Oh wow, bloody hell!" I remember goosebumps standing when I saw this trailer, and there was there was your mate from is it Lawnmower Death was interviewed on it. A
yeah,
short clip of him being interviewed. There's a little short clip of me saying something, and I think it's Chris Astley from Zentrix saying something. And then there's footage of various bands playing
yeah,
live, and I don't know who it was playing in the background, but it all stems from that. So I've then been contacted by Matt Rosinski at D.A.M about doing the reissues, and there was a couple of other interviews I did and some stuff in America. And then I'd said to John, because John had been on about it for a while, a couple of years, but the timing wasn't right. And I said, right, John, if you want to do it, you've got to do it now. I said, we've got reissues. I said, there's going to be this documentary coming out. So if we're going to do some live stuff, we need to do it now. So that's why we put it together back then and did the live shows. My original idea was that we would release something unreleased. We would do some new recordings, but we did some demos, but it didn't properly get to that. It just the way it is. It's like you've been married and then you got a divorce and then you're trying to get back together again, and it's it's one of them. Even though we didn't split. We just sort of like faded away. It's still hard work like that.
Oh, mate,
Um,
tell me about it. I
I
mean,
mean, so
you
in
know,
acid rain, is it
when we
just
came
you?
back, you know, as you know,
Yeah,
we rebooted because
yeah,
I tried to reform, and one by one, each, you know, the original members were leaving because they realized they didn't have the time.
yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So, you
it's
know,
really hard work. I couldn't do that. What you've done, I couldn't do that. It's because it's John's band anyway. John's the original member. It's John Burry's band anyway. So without John, it's. I'm happy to do this, to
yeah,
do these, and John would prefer that. He's not bothered about that. But when it comes to the actual personnel, it's John or no. It's got to be John or nothing. I couldn't start putting together.
yeah,
What was one thing where I was going to possibly take some of the recordings, try and get the original the masters, and then maybe do something again. But it's just again, it's just timing, mate, and it's just time and
yeah,
doing it
yeah,
that way. But no, I think we've done it now. That was it. We came back. We did some live shows,
yeah,
and then we were just fading away again towards the end there.
yeah.
Just time to
Well,
say no.
well, mate, I mean, believe it or not, we've been back 11 years now.
How many people are coming to the shows? What's it like out there?
It's good. It's good. I mean, well, I mean, we haven't. I mean, God, I'm just trying to think. The last tour, the last bunch of dates we did in the UK was Easter 2024, and um, that was Preston, Kingston, and Leicester, and all three.
Preston's Preston's the first place I ever saw you. I ever saw
Ah,
Acid Rain. Yeah,
oh, at
Preston Guildhall
the Guildhall,
with
yeah.
you and Reanimator support to Nuclear Assault
Yeah.
on I can't remember which LP it was.
Survive.
Before we were even a band. I think we wasn't even a band.
Bloody
With me,
hell.
I think me and Andy were friends, but we hadn't joined D.A.M. We were just
Yeah.
mates and just jamming around in our own, out doing our own thing. And we saw you, we saw Reanimate, and we saw you, and realised you were British. And I said, Andy, we've got to, this is what we need to be. This is where we need to be. We need to be doing what they are doing. We need to be with them.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
Preston Guildhall. Yeah,
well, we did the do you know the ferret in Preston?
yes. I've not been there, but I know what
Right.
you mean. Yeah, because
Well,
it was Preston's
we
only 20 minutes, 25 minutes down the road from here, from where we
well
are.
that
Yeah,
those three Easter shows were all sold out.
yeah,
And funnily enough, we're back in Preston in June because we've got a new album coming out in
yeah,
May, and we're back in Preston in June. So come along.
yeah. I'll try and get along. Yeah, I will. I'll
Yeah, well,
try.
I'll send you the poster of it. Hit me up on the day.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'll put you on the guest list. Bring whoever you want.
good man.
And that'd be I know it'd be good to see you, man. Be really
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Um, but do you know what? I've known you all these years. I never knew that story. I never knew that you were at that Guildhall show.
Yeah,
And fucking fair play to you, mate. From being in the crowd to
yeah,
then
yeah.
like
And it
touring
was
with
only
us.
maybe it was only 18 months to about. I don't think it was 2 years later, and then
Yeah.
we're in the same dressing room as Reanimator at the Astoria.
Yes.
And then when but on that night we were bottom of the bill. We were opening on the bill, 20 minutes slot, and that was our showcase to Noise on that night. And then
Right.
Reanimator Slammer were on, Nuclear Assault was on. Yeah, that was so
Well,
that
funnily enough, I was at a nuclear assault show about 9 months before we were on the road with them. I was like getting
wow.
Anthony Bramante's
Yeah,
autograph, and then like 9 months later, I'm telling him that I got his autograph 9 months later, and he's like,
yeah,
"What?" It's just fucking mental.
yeah. Yeah,
That was
I remember that show well at Preston Guildhall. I remember you stood on that with your foot on the monitor, going it all out, and there was stage diving off and everything.
it was going
That's
mental,
what
wasn't it? And
we've got to
yeah,
do that. We need to be doing that. Yeah,
and funnily enough, look, that poster is nuclear assault, Dark Angel,
yeah,
Acid Rain. Candlemass joined for these German shows, but
yeah,
that's the tour that obviously you were us on the UK leg of
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then we couldn't go to Europe because we were going straight to Berlin to do the LP, to do Human Wreckage, to record Human Wreckage. So that's where we were. So while you were over there doing that, we were also in Germany, but recording at the time. No, do you remember where you was in November of that year? Do you remember which?
Um,
Might tell you in the
well,
front.
that was
Not
all in
October, yeah.
October.
October, yes. It was the end of October, and then it went into November when we were in Berlin, and then the wall came down while we were recording at the same time. Yeah,
Man, we got into
yeah.
so much trouble on that tour.
You had a mad time out there, didn't you? Didn't one of the guys from
Uh,
Dark Angel get lifted, get
yeah,
arrested?
yeah. I didn't see him again until about 2 years later. Gons, Mike from
Mike Gonzalez.
yeah, he
Yeah, what
got
was that about?
yeah he got slung in jail. We'd all been out drinking, and at the time we liked to race over cars.
Jesus.
So jump on the bonnet,
Yeah,
get on the boot, over the
yeah.
roof, onto the bonnet, and then onto the next car for a
Wow.
laugh.
Yeah,
And we were absolutely fucking wankered. We did it. Um, and then later on, it find out we did it over a load of Audis, Porsches, Mercedes, etc. Dodds, the merch guy,
yeah.
and Eric from Dark Angel and Gons from Dark Angel were at Burger King. They came out of Burger King and got nicked immediately.
Wow.
Um, so clearly they looked like, you know, the kind of people that they were looking for.
Yeah, they
And
fit the description of it. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
Dodds
yeah,
said Dodds understood a bit of German, and he said
yeah,
they got this witness to come in, and they said to her in German, they said to her like, right, which one is it? And then she was like, well, it's none of them. I haven't seen these guys before. And the policeman turned around and said, it's got to be one of them. Pick
yeah.
one.
Oh no.
So she just pointed at guns, and that was it.
yeah,
And the thing is, we all thought it was hilarious at first,
yeah,
rock and roll, innit? Gonz is in jail. We're all drawing, like we're all drawing in the dirt on the back of the bus, like, bunk for hire, see
yeah.
Gene, you know,
Oh
we're
no.
all properly taking the piss because we
Did
think
that?
like it'll be out soon.
Yeah,
And Dan Lilka's filling in for him on
yeah.
bass, and it's
On
like
stage, yeah, yeah,
it's like everything's carrying on. And then we keep asking Paul Loseby when he's coming back to the tour, and Loseby's
yeah,
just like, well, there's no fucking chance of that at the moment. And then after about 4 or 5 days, they actually finally get to visit Gons, and they
yeah.
come back and go like, uh, he's so fucked. Like
Jesus.
he hadn't, no one had spoken English to him. He had no idea why he was there. He had no idea how long he was going to be there. He had no idea about anything. Um, and when he saw, you know, Loseby, tour manager, and
Yeah.
Gene, they they had to fill him in on what the fuck was going on.
Oh no. It's coming back to me now because Paul came out to Berlin to visit us at the studio and he was on and he told us about that. He told us about did if I remember rightly, did they get know some drug dealers in Los Angeles and they got some money
Well,
to
well,
bail him out or something?
the actual story is this, okay, right? I'm giving away all my secrets now. I do this story in my one man show. Anyway, the true story is this. It's a lot of. It was like 50,000 Deutschmarks or something they wanted.
Yeah,
Adjusted for inflation, listeners,
yeah,
that is about 150,000 euros by today's
yeah.
money. And
Jesus.
or Gons wasn't getting home. He was just going to be in jail. That was
Yeah,
that. And Ron from Dark Angel said to me, I'm going to have to get him out now. A friend of mine, and he told me earlier when we were on tour about a friend of his who he'd saved his life, and basically this friend said, "Look, anything you want when you get home off tour,
yeah.
you can have it, like six-figure sum, whatever." So anyway, Ron turns around to me and goes, "Hey, H, do you want to come? You want to come with me? I'm going to go and I'm going to make a phone call and get Gonz out of jail." And even 19-year-old me thought, "Yeah, I can't fucking miss this." So I go with Ron, and he gets to the production office. He gets on the phone, and he gets through. And it's not the dude; it's his girlfriend. And she's like, "Oh, hey, what do you want?" He said, "Look, like, long story short, I need 50,000 Deutschmarks, and it's going to cost about $5,000 to wire that over here, and it's about this in American, like $70,000, something like that." Anyway, she goes, "Hang on a second." There's a pause of about a minute, and she comes back and goes, "Yeah, we've got that in the house."
Jesus. Fucking hell.
I know. And Ron, and I mean, it's the kind of story that if I hadn't been sat there, if somebody told me this story, you'd think like, "Oh, that's gone through a few
Yeah.
sets of people and it's been embellished." I was right there. This is exactly what happened. And yeah, I could never find out for Ron what this guy did for a living, but it certainly wasn't within the law, put it that way.
No, yeah. No, I remember now it was Lawsby, Paul Lawsby. He came over for a few days to Berlin, and I remember it's coming back to me now. Though you've mentioned all that, yeah, yeah. Wow, mad
I know.
times.
Oh, mad fucking times, mad fucking times. Of course, the tour was marked for death by the German police after that. So
Yeah.
every town we went to, we had to behave. 2 nights later, we got in a fucking mass brawl.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. And guess
Oh,
whose fault it was? The whole fucking thing.
yeah.
This guy right here.
Yours.
I started the whole fucking thing.
Oh no.
Honestly,
Well,
mate. Yeah, I will. I'll tell you. Yeah, this is going to get released to the public, so I'll curtail that. But
well,
I'll tell you more when I see you in June,
yeah.
hopefully. Um, but yeah, I mean they were mad times back in those days, weren't they? Do you remember Derry? Do you remember when we played Derry? We played outside. We played football. Of course, when I
Yeah,
say played, we played football outside on the concrete, and
yeah,
we had a crowd of about 200 by the time
yeah,
we stopped playing.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, the place that we played was really smart, wasn't it? It wasn't like
Yeah,
it was like
it was the Guild Hall. I've got the poster right here.
yeah, it wasn't a spit and sawdust place, was it? It was a
No,
really crystal clear, clean,
yeah.
squeaky clean place, wasn't it? I remember that.
Well, those three shows were fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Dublin, Derry, and Belfast. I mean,
yeah,
Dublin McGonagall's. What a night!
really good. Yeah,
That was insane. That was like dripping with sweat. I've got some
yeah,
pictures from that
crazy.
night. I've got some pictures of you guys from that night and us, and like
Yeah,
we all look like we're in a sauna.
yeah. I remember that one. I remember I think it was the one with the low ceiling. Was it Newcastle under Lyme near Stoke? That was
Yeah.
the one with the really low ceiling. That was where it was just absolutely drenched, sweat through, and there was risk of electrocution and all
Well, that was
sorts.
the one where we pulled the ceiling down, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I remember everybody having to keep toweling down the guitar so they wouldn't get
Yeah.
electrocuted or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, that was one seriously
yeah,
fucking hot April.
yeah,
So, do you, are you still, are you still kind of like, keeping an eye on thrash? Is it, you still kind of like, buy albums or anything like that? Or are you kind of in a different, because I know you sort of, you were or still are still sort of,
yeah,
involved in music.
yeah, yeah. I keep my eye out a little bit because I still run the Facebook page for D.A.M. So when I log into that, I usually see what's going on and what's going on. I've not been buying any music to be fair much. It's not at all really. It's just I don't know. It's just everything's changed. It's not the same anymore. But yeah, I keep my eye out on what's going on. I like to keeping my nose in there just to see who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
But what's been good? What do you think is has been good so far in previous years? What do you like?
To be honest, it's a weird one because I kind of find myself getting into all sorts of stuff these days. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, thrash is still my music of choice, um, and I'm pretty much kind of like you know anything that's thrash, I'm gonna fucking check it out, you know. Um, but also some of my old favorites bands like COC, Prong, stuff like that, which they're all still putting out great albums. Metal Church have got a new album, um, and it's amazing when like some of these older bands come back and you're like fucking hell, you know.
I quite like them. That band Metal Church. I really liked them. Yeah, the first I think the first three albums was the first singer called was it Dave Wayne? Some was it
Yeah,
Dave
fucking
Wayne?
hell, that's a shout. Pulled that one
And
out
then
of the
the next
memory banks.
and then the one he recently passed away. The next singer
Yes,
he passed away only a couple of years ago, didn't he?
yeah.
I particularly liked that side of that metal genre, yeah, the Metal Church. Because I always liked the singers. I liked those that would sing and the powerhouse voices. It was always my thing. Crunchy riffs.
Well, you were a bit of a powerhouse vocalist yourself, mate.
Thank you. I listened to um the first single when you got back together. You didn't just go out and put a band together and play live and everything. You went straight into the studio.
Yeah.
Um, and I was listening to that. I thought I've got to check this out, and I quite like that. I really like that. It was just up my street. Um,
Oh, cool.
but you'll have to remind me what was it called? What was the single called? That very
That
first single,
was a Plan of the Damned.
"Planet of the Damned." I quite like that. I really like that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool, man.
I had a good listen to that.
Oh, cool, mate.
That was. Yeah. So I saw you've been together now, back together for over 10 years.
Yeah,
You've got a new LP coming out soon.
yeah,
Another one.
yeah. It's but do you know what, mate? Bands, nothing changes. The new album, it's only got me and the bass player from the last album.
Yeah.
So we put an album out in 2019.
Yeah.
Um, and then COVID, and then lineup changes, and yada yada
Yeah.
yada. So it's taken a long time to get a new album out. Um,
Yeah.
and there was a time where I was thinking, I don't know, you know, is this, is this worth it? But then
Yeah.
I just, but
So
then
what
I thought,
what's
yeah, fuck it, it is.
what's the procedure to recording and releasing? Is it a case of you're paying for your own time in the studio? So you go in, you're booking the studio yourselves, you're going in there, you're trying to get everything laid down as quickly as possible. In various, maybe, I don't know, just layer upon layer upon layer, then go for the mixing, get everything all just as you like it, and then it, is there a company that's doing the release and the distribution,
Well,
or are you doing it all
basically,
yourselves?
well,
How's it
basically,
all work
that
nowadays?
that is how the Age of Entitlement was done, which was our comeback album. We recorded, but I wanted to do it that way because I wanted a
Yeah,
completely finished product and have somebody put it out, you know? This time, same label, well, slightly different label because the label we were on last time doesn't exist anymore, but that's because it was sold. It was part
yeah,
of Plastic Head. It was sold. We're on Back on Black. We're putting this album out on Back on Black, and so this time it's been the other way around. This time it's been just like the old days, given a budget, um, go record the album, deliver it by X. So that's exactly what we've done.
yeah,
Um, so um, guitarist Matt and drummer Johnny went down to Carmarthen in Wales. There's a little studio down there working with Jace Lewis, our producer.
yeah,
Jace came back from New York specially to do the album, which is fucking amazing. And they did that before Christmas. Then just after Christmas, I went down to Northstone Studios, which is in Bridgend, which is Jace's studio. Recorded all the vocals there, and we're mixing. We're in final mixing stages at the moment. The album, well, we should be able to deliver the album, the finished
yeah.
mastered album, by, funnily enough, 7 days today, a week today.
That's great. That's good. That's good. And then
And
you're out
then
on tour.
Yeah, we're out on tour in May. Sorry, album comes out in May. Tour in June. Festivals won't be this year; they'll be next year. But we've got some exciting stuff happening as well, but
Good.
nothing that I can mention at the moment because
No,
it's
good.
not been announced yet. But yeah, we've got some cool stuff going on. But yeah, I
Good.
mean, the process, to be honest, is it's not that different from how it was back in the day.
Yeah,
The only weird thing is that um, you have this thing called pre-sale now.
yeah,
So like I mean, it's weird to me to wrap my head around the concept of your album is on sale and we haven't finished it yet.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The pre-sale
Yeah,
pre-orders.
yeah, and so it's like literally the label are like, look, it's more important to get
Yeah,
album artwork than it is to get the music. As
yeah,
soon as we've got artwork, we can start selling it.
yeah. Right.
We
Yeah.
can work backwards with the music.
Yeah,
So it's just, yeah, it's kind of weird, but they're really cool. They let us do everything, like whatever we want.
yeah,
They just ask us what's the single. There's no sort of debating, like, being told what to do, although they did really want us to release the single that we're going to release because there's a guest guitarist on it, so that
good,
always helps.
good,
um
good.
Actually, guest guitarist used to be in a band, you might like, fucking, there's a brilliant singer in a band, they're called Haken, Haken.
Haken. That
Yeah,
rings a bell.
really good. I mean, it's really proggy. They've got some long
Yeah,
songs and stuff. Um, but yeah, really good. Funnily enough, I discovered them when I was in lockdown because they put an album out called Virus, believe it or not.
yeah, mhm,
It's a concept album about about a virus,
yeah,
and they brought it out in 2020, in March 2020.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's I definitely check them out.
Good.
But
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah, labels still the same, mate. It's I mean, it is. It's kind of different. I mean, we'll take like physical products on the road with us, like albums, CDs, and sell them, which is obviously not something we used to do back in the day because we had these
yeah,
things called record shops. Um, but yeah, other than that, probably the main difference is how much attention you have to pay to the merch.
yeah. Yeah, I get that.
You know,
I
it's
get that.
it's it's absolutely crucial. And if you get it right, that will make the difference, because the thing is, bands at our level and a lot of other bands that, people might even not even realize are as close to the edge as they'd like to think. But, you're
Yeah,
one bad tour away from being bankrupt basically as a band,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I
you
can imagine.
yeah.
Can
So it's
imagine.
like ultimately, um, the goal, the goal is don't lose money.
Yeah,
That is literally, it's not, hey, let's make X.
yeah,
It's don't lose anything, you know?
yeah,
Um, and if you can make a bit of money, great. But it
yeah, yeah,
all just goes back into the band because you've got to
yeah, yeah.
stay afloat,
I get that. I get
you
that.
know? I mean, the whole reason we're doing this is just for like life experiences, if you like, you know? It's certainly not earning shitloads of cash. It's ideally we'll get some free holidays out of it,
Yeah,
by by going to places and playing music.
yeah. I get that. I get that. I can imagine a few people being disillusioned with it all. It's just not the same as what it was. Even though it
Everybody's
wasn't that
got to have a
great back
side
then.
hustle.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
So
everyone's got to have a side hustle. Every
yeah,
guitarist I know is a guitar teacher as well.
yeah. I get that.
You know. Um, Speaking of which, what are you doing these days? Because I know you were singing for a while.
Um, I, I've been running that as a business for I'm in my 21st year now.
Bloody
Um,
hell.
pubs and clubs,
Yeah,
holiday parks. They're not the same as what they were. Even what I do isn't the same. It's all changed. Yeah, pubs and clubs, rough old ass, backstreet pubs, mate. Just singing Beatles songs, David Bowie songs.
dude,
Um,
sounds like what I do with stand up. You could be fucking anywhere. You turn up,
yeah,
you just be ready for whatever.
I remember talking to you about it. So the last time I properly saw you, we were sat down and we were talking about because I was asking you because are you living in London
Yeah.
even but and are you still traveling have to travel back to Harrogate?
Well,
So,
occasionally, yeah. Funnily
yeah,
enough, I did a gig in Nesborough this weekend, but
right, yeah. So
yeah.
and the stand up is it still the character that you do?
Um, yes and no. I
Right,
do
so
a
you do it
fair amount of me, and I do a fair amount of the character still.
right, yeah, yeah. Because um, I remember watching watching some of the shows of Keith Platt on YouTube,
That's right.
and one of the I don't do much of it now, but back then I used to do quite a lot of high high net worth shows, certain
Yeah,
clubs and you deal with an entertainment agent. And this particular agent, and we've been friends for a long, long time. We still work together. He still gets us gigs and stuff. He runs the agency, but his side hustle is an actual comedian himself. But
right,
but not but it's the opposite end. Um he's more of the Bernard Manning style,
right.
the
Okay.
club comedian. Even though mainly he does lots of the what the gentleman's evenings,
Oh, right. Okay.
where
Yeah.
he'll be alongside a celebrity like an ex sportsman, an ex boxer or ex footballer, and then he
Yeah.
does the gentleman's evenings, and then he does his routine there. And I remember talking to you, and you told me how much you'd been earning per gig, and I went, no way, you should be on more than that, surely. And but I do remember that London's a different planet altogether with
Yeah.
what regards to we do
It,
within that entertainment
but
industry.
also comedy is piss poorly paid, mate. Um, I mean, if anything, um, what people get paid now is even worse.
Well, I remember being with him. This is called Lester. So he's my agent. He's an agent that I use who an entertainment who books me gigs. He said, right, you're going to such and such a place on this date, and
Yeah.
then and his sister mainly runs that side of things anyway. And then he's a comedian at the weekends. The gentlemen's evenings, sportsmen's evenings, clubs, wherever he's got a gig. And then one evening we were performing together in Blackpool at a club called it's a massive club in Blackpool. Bernard Manning had played there, and Shirley Bassey was probably there at one point. I can't remember the club's name. And we were on the show. It was a big show, and at the time, my character was called Jason Stardust, and
Right.
my show it lasted maybe 45 minutes, and it was just non-stop the glam rock era of the 70s. So it
Right.
was Slade and Mud and T-Rex and etc. etc. And I'd have the paraphernalia, the platform boots, the flares, the glittery jackets, and I'd come in and I'd do not this non-stop show of all these hits from the 70s, the glam rock show. And we were in, and he'd already done his spot. I was getting ready to do my spot. He'd done his spot, and I just remember the concert secretary coming in and saying, "Oh, nice one, that's very much," and paying him, and handing him this check. And I saw what was on this check. You see, I saw and then I'm thinking of that, so I can remember is what you told me what you'd got, and then me
Yeah.
seeing what he'd got, and I'm thinking this isn't right. So I told him, I said, right, I said that, will you have a look at this? This is a friend of mine. I said, I've known this guy for years. I said, this is his job. He's stand up. It's the stand up.
Yeah.
And he was looking at, and I can't remember which show it was, but I really liked it. I thought it was really funny. And he said, he messaged me back and he said, well, I'm just watching it. And he was talking about stuff that I wouldn't understand not being a comedian. So he was
Right.
talking
Yeah.
about, it was on about the timing and deliveries he was talking about. And because I said, why would he only earn this money? And he said, well, London's a different planet anyway. And
Mm.
he was on about timing and delivering this, that, and other. And I said, well, look at, I said, he said they wouldn't, the places that we play, they might not understand it, might not get it.
Yeah.
I said, but he's talking about common stuff. I said, but and he said, yeah, I get that. And he was laughing at, so there was one routine he was laughing at. And I think it was the routine, because it got me, was the one, your sketch, fuck off back to where you've come from.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and you're saying, somebody said fuck up, that's what, and then you're saying, well, if they do that, they'll be honest, and then
Yeah.
you go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and then you take a deep breath, and you know exactly what you're going to say, because they will fuck off back to where they come from.
Yeah.
And he liked that, and I said surely in a working men's club they would understand that, because they're probably a little bit racist and stuff like that, aren't they? You'll get that sort of audience anyway. And he said, "Yeah, I get it." He said, "But it's the two
I
things,
would like to point out the routine that you're talking about is pro immigration
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. No,
yes,
I
and
got that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
not
I got it.
racist.
I got it. Yeah, I
I know
got it. It's
I'm clearing that up for the listeners just in
yeah,
case. Gonna
yeah,
get
yeah.
me
No,
fucking
I
cancelled.
get it. Yeah, because the sketch is saying, well, if they all fuck off back to come from, we'll lose out on this and this and this. But yeah,
Exactly.
I like
Yeah.
that routine, just when you go, and you know exactly what you're going to say. Yeah. but
Oh,
so
mate.
so the point I was making with him was that if they would get this in this working men's club, surely they would get this. This is the amount of money you'd be on,
Yeah,
which would
yeah.
be, a little bit more than what you
It's a
thought, you know.
complete, but you like, it's a
Yeah,
completely different world. It
I
really is.
think, yeah,
You
I
know,
get it now. It's all
the
changed anyway since lockdown. Anyway, but this was before lockdown. This
right,
was a few
yeah.
years before lockdown when I spoke to you. But yeah,
So,
yeah, I
so
mean,
are you still sort of regularly gigging? You know?
yeah, just the weekends. It's mainly the weekends. I've started to slow things down this year a little bit, as you know what's been going on in my
Yeah,
personal life. So it's I've still got a few things to deal with there, and then I'm possibly maybe just going to slow things down a little bit
yeah.
as we're heading towards the retirement age. Um, yeah, my wife still
Mate,
works full time,
you're a
so
performer. You're a
yeah,
performer, which means you've got a performer's pension, and the performer's pension is, well, you're never going to fucking stop, are you?
yeah, no,
So
probably not. Probably
yeah,
not. No,
I know,
but
I know. It's like
not as
it's in
much as
us.
I'd done. Yeah, just not as much as I'd done because I did build up quite a good business with it. So it was a business. So it's like just like a. I saw the business of what I do as no different to a plumber or a joiner, a self-employed plumber or a joiner.
Yeah,
You get a rolling momentum of work coming in, and then you
yeah.
contact word of mouth, and it was just exactly the same thing, and then it just snowballed into being able to run it as a business, as a
Oh, good
career.
for you, man.
So we did
Good for
okay
you.
with it. Yeah, it worked well at home as well because my wife she works full time at the hospital. She's high up in pediatrics on the neonatal unit. She's been there for quite a long time. So
Right.
where she'd be out at work in the morning, first thing I was able to run the house and get the kids to school and do the washing
Yeah.
and but I was mummy for a few years, and then I'll be going out at the weekends and doing my thing. So
Yeah.
it works well. But everybody's grown up now. All kids are all grown up now. They're all late teenagers now. The youngest is 17.
Wow. Bloody hell, mate. You're making me feel old. Oh, hang on. That's because I am.
Well, you look well. You're looking well,
Oh, mate, I am.
and because you never smoked. Me and you, we didn't smoke. We never smoked, did we?
No.
No, that's the key to it. Is that the smokers are the ones that look older than they are. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, believe you
yeah.
me,
You look well. You look well.
well, look, man, it's really good to see you as well. And while we've been talking, I've sent you the poster for the
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah. I see that.
So
Yeah,
so try and come along if you can, mate. It'd
I
be
will
really
do.
good
I
to see
will.
you.
I will do.
All
I'll
right.
try.
Well, look, thank you
Okay.
so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And
Thanks
look,
for asking me. It was
and
good to
look,
talk to you.
I hope a load of people are going to discover or rediscover D.A.M on the back of this.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Look,
All right,
thanks
mate.
again, dude. Good to
You're
see you,
welcome.
and
Thank
I
you.
look forward to seeing you in June.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. All right, mate.
Nice
All the
one.
best. Bye,
Cheers,
everybody.
dude.
Bye bye.
See ya. Bye bye.